Hi, I'm Victoria, and I'm doing my confirmation speech on the gift of love and its importance in my role as a Lutheran. But first, I will read this passage from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, there will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. To me, love is one of the most important things in my life and in my faith in God. I love my family, my friends, and I grow from the love that they give back to me. Similarly to how love unites us all in this church, allowing us to bond as a community and become a family. Unconditional love is something that comes with being Lutheran and believing in God, and this is something that is morally important to me because it has taught me to trust people, forgive people, and give me the strength to get through rough times. None of this would have been possible. None of this would have been possible without God and my faith towards Him, and without the help of everyone here. You have all impacted me in a positive way and played important roles in my life while I was growing up, which has led me to become the person that I am today. So I would like to thank you all for being there for me and for the love and support. My love for you all and for God is everlasting and continues to grow every day and with every memory that I make here at church with you guys. So thank you to everyone and thank you to God. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. As many of you may already know, my name is Kira. I wanted to start off by saying how blessed I am to be standing here before you. Once my mom and I found out that confirmation was going to happen, she kept repeatedly asking me about what Bible verse I wanted. But I never had an answer for her until just last week. Because I haven't read the whole Bible, I tried looking through my impact notes and searching up verses that related to something I thought would best describe me. But none of them really stood out. Then it came to me. During Impact, I remember this one month where we dove into the meaning and symbolism of the Lord's Prayer. That was probably my favorite lesson because I realized how connected I was to it. I realized that the words we were studying have been engraved in my mind ever since 3-month-old baby Kira was baptized. I've said it every Sunday at church and practically every night before I went to bed. My favorite thing about Impact was that it was a place I could feel connected to the people that had the same thoughts and curiosity about our religion as I did. It was a safe environment that helped us talk about Christianity to people our age at school, since it was prohibited, and evidently grew my confidence in talking freely to my friends about God. Because of this, my friends always came to me if they ever want to talk. During the super fun trips to Big Bear and the sleepovers we had in Natterstedt Hall, we created a home away from home, talking about our highs and lows and things on our mind. It was the little things during the meetings that made laughing together and crying together so special. I loved the different methods of teaching we were provided, and especially loved the show Chosen. If you haven't watched it and typically aren't a binger, you will be after watching the first episode. Even though Impact was only a few times a month, I looked forward to it every single time. At the end of my time in Impact, I reflected on how much my connection with God and my knowledge grew. It was a bittersweet moment at the last meeting, but made me happy realizing that I get to continue to do the same thing, just in the adult version now. I was struggling to choose just one verse because I didn't feel that just one would satisfy the importance it was to me. In Sunday school, during sermons, during teachings and Impact, we are taught that the entire Bible should be something we live by and cherish, not just one verse. I know for sure that I haven't read the whole Bible or have gotten the chance to understand the deep complexity of the scripture just yet, but I hope as I strengthen my connection with God and continue on my journey of faith that I get to read the whole Bible and actually understand what it all means. That's what I believe is most important. I wanted to give a special thank you to God for bringing PD, the Jescos, the Reed family, Mickey, the Christopher family, the Quadras, and practically everybody else in this room into my life. I also wanted to give a very special thank you to my God family, the Browns, Desmonds, and especially the Mahonies. Last and certainly not least, my final thank you goes to the people that stood by my side since birth and love me the mostest, my mom and dad. I can't thank you all enough for the incredible support you have given me and everything you have taught me. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is AJ Reed, and I'm going to be speaking to you today about the Bible verse I chose for my confirmation. To begin, I want to say thank you to everyone who has been a part of my life at this church, specifically Pastor Dana, Mickey, Mrs. Mahoney, Ms. Smolnick, and my mom and dad. You have all made a great impact on me. Now let's get on with what we are here for. Here's the Bible verse I chose for my confirmation speech. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. This, I can say, is true. In the mind of a teenager, I thought that pain was having bad teachers and hard times when doing homework and studying for countless hours for tests. For example, last year I had a difficult teacher, Mr. Sarah Mosing, for science. He gave many assignments, many tests, and was very difficult to put up with. In my mind, and out loud to my parents, I constantly questioned his method of teaching and asked why he made everything so difficult. Distance learning was already so hard. Why did I get stuck with this teacher? His expectations were high, and it seemed impossible for me to meet. He tested my patience and made me work harder than any class I've ever taken. My motivation to be in his class dwindled. He gave extra credit to help those who needed to raise their grade or to secure their grade. I wanted to secure my grade, so I took the bait and did it. But you want to know how long it took to complete? 22 hours. Yeah, 22 hours. But I did it. In the end, with my teenage mind, I thought that these trials were without purpose. Boy, was I stupid. I had short-sighted vision. Now that I'm in high school, I realize that while Mr. Saramosing made my life miserable for 10 months, his purpose was to help me prosper in higher education. God placed this teacher in my life to strengthen me intellectually and teach me perseverance, which gives me great hope that I will survive the next 4 years of high school and even further in my life. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. I can see why this Bible verse is widely used by many. This verse is really meaningful to me because it truly embodies my feelings about the relationship between me and God, specifically this last year and a half where the world has been turned upside down. While there have been many reasons to fear and while many people are suffering emotionally and physically, this verse allows me and all of us to move past the fear and embrace hope. Even in dark days and difficult situations, we can have hope that God will lead us through. This verse is not just a promise that we will be prosperous in this life, but that as long as we trust God, our lives will be much more bearable and we will be given everything we need. He will give us everything we need to represent Him more fully on earth. Now I understand. God does have good plans for me. It just took me a while to recognize it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Courtney, and my verse is over strength because as a child, when I had lost my father, I really thought there was nothing left for me to do in this world except for cry. However, when I looked towards God, He gave me the strength to continue on and bring me here to where I am today. So my verse is the 2 Corinthians 12:9-10. But He said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more glad of my weakness, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then I am content with weakness, insults, hardships, persuasions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong." And I would like to thank God for giving me the strength to keep going on. I would also like to thank the people who helped me get here, such as my family who is here to support me today, my Uncle Doug and my Aunt Michelle, who helped me pick out the verse, because I read through the Bible and it was so hard to pick one. And I would also like to thank my mother, who has also held my hand through all the hard times, and my Aunt Cheryl, who may not be here physically, but may be here in spirit. But most of all, I'd love to thank my grandma, who drove here and got out of her time to pick me up from school, soccer practice, soccer games, and on worst days, she would take me to Starbucks, and even on good days, we'd go to Starbucks. So thank you, Grandma, for all that. And I'd also like to thank my peers and my teachers, such as Pastor Dana, Rob, Miss Cammie, and Miss Dana, who brought us to lovely Big Bear trips and taught us a lot about God, and my friends who had lifted me up in my hard times when I thought that I wouldn't make it. Thank you.